Welcome back everybody to Veve Gems, where you get periodic videos on top quality NFTs on the Veve app, which I call Veve Gems. Today I will show you the top 10 undervalued comics on Veve along with the portfolio tracker and Veve stats for week number 20. And this is not financial advice. This is the Veve weekly statistics snapshot that will be discussed in detail later on in the video. This table shows the cost in gems per MCP point. In general, any value that is 7 gems and below is considered a good value. And the comics that stand out on this table include the rare variants of Journey into Mystery Annual number 1, Groot FA, Nick Fury FA, and Fantastic Four number 12. This table shows the percentage supply still available on the market for the top 10 undervalued comics on Veve. In general, the lower the percentage, the higher the demand for such comic is. And the ones that stand out on the list include Fantastic Four number 1, the common variant, Marvel Comics number 1, and Sergeant Fury number 1. We can also notice on the list that there are very high percentages for Journey into Mystery Annual number 1, the reason for which this comic has been recently dropped and hasn't been fully absorbed by the market, and to a lesser extent Amazing Fantasy number 15 as well has relatively high percentages. This table shows the percentage upside potential for each of the top 10 undervalued comics on Veve. In general, any percentage that is 300 and above is considered a good value. For those of you interested in the secret rare comics, the ones that have a good percentage upside potential include Fantastic Four number 12 and Nick Fury. This table compares the current prices of the top 10 undervalued comics. In general, any value that is 7 gems and below is considered a good value. And we can see the ones that stand out on the list include the common and uncommon variants of Hercules first appearance, Groot first appearance, Nick Fury, and Fantastic Four number 12. This table shows the total editions minted for these top 10 comics on the list. If we look at the last column, we see the total editions, and looking at the first column, we see the number of editions under the common variant. Then the next column, the number of editions for the uncommon variant, then the rare, ultra rare, and secret rare. The factors on the right side of the table show you how rare is that variant compared to the common variant. So looking at number 1, Marvel Comics number 1, the uncommon is 8 times more rare than the common. In other words, there is 8 commons for each one uncommon, and there's 16 commons for each rare. There is 20 commons for each ultra rare and 80 commons for each secret rare. So this table will give you some perspective of how rare each variant is compared to the common mid-size. This table shows this week's addition to the investor's portfolio. So we have the top 10 comics ranked and the variants of those comics, as well as the prices of these comics today. And at the bottom we have the total amount invested for this week's investor's portfolio. This table shows the price performance of the addition to the investor's portfolio that was selected last week. So we have the top 10 undervalued comics ranked, the variants, the prices last week and the prices today, the change for the week, and the percentage change. So in total, our investment last week was 607.88 gems, currently valued at 604.88 gems, giving us a loss of 3 gems or 0.5%. This table shows the cumulative performance of the investor's portfolio over the last 19 weeks. So looking at the bottom of the table, so far we have invested 14,140.56 gems, currently valued at 10,362.87 gems, which gives us a loss of 3,777.69 gems, or an equivalent of a negative 26.7%. Looking at the table on the right side, so far we have invested in a total of 190 NFTs, and we can see the breakdown of each comic under the total. So we can see that the main focus is on the rare and the uncommon variants because these provide the best value. This table shows the weekly Veve social media stats. So looking at week number 20, at the bottom, we have lost 106 followers on Twitter for the week. There's no change on Discord. We've lost 15 Facebook members and we have lost 391 Instagram followers. So looking at the total above, for the whole period of 20 weeks, Veve has lost 1.53% of its Twitter followers, 3.57% of its Discord followers, has gained 0.73% Facebook members, and has lost 5.78% of its Instagram followers. This table shows the weekly Veve ImmutaScan stats on the blockchain. So looking at week number 20, Veve has minted 32,311 new tokens for the week and added 263 new unique owners for the week, which brings us to 11.71 as a TMO ratio, which is the tokens minted to unique owners ratio. This means that for each unique owner we have 11.71 tokens minted. We can notice that the trend of this ratio is moving upwards, which means there's more tokens per unique owner, and as long as this trend keeps continuing up, we can expect sideways to downward movement in prices on average in the marketplace. Furthermore, if we look at the shaded percentages, which are the percentage changes for each week, in general, when the shade is green, it's good, and when the shade is red, it's bad, and anywhere in between, like yellow shades, is kind of mid-ranging. So looking at the weekly statistics charts, we can see 2 positively growing statistics and 3 negative ones. Starting with the positive ones are the number of tokens minted. It grew at a rate of 9% for the last 19 weeks, and the unique owners grew by only 1% over the last 19 weeks as well. So we can see that there's a huge disparity between the growth in unique owners and tokens minted, which would mean that prices would keep moving sideways and probably to the downside in the short term. Now moving on to the social media stats, which are the 3 lines at the bottom. The gray line shows the growth in Twitter followers is around -2%, and the yellow line is the growth of Discord followers, which is around -4%, and the worst of all is the growth of Instagram followers, which is in -6%. This brings us to the key takeaways of this presentation. So for the short term, it is obvious that we are in an economic recession, and the 19-week token minting growth is 9.32% compared to only 1.19% or the unique owners growth for the same period. And it's very clear that the social media metrics are trending down, and on average token minting far exceeds demand. So given these points, we can expect values to move sideways and to the downside in the short term. For the long term, the economy may rebound in 2023 and 2024. The token burning may support values. We can expect mass marketing in Q1 2023, which should bring new users, and the TMO ratio should at least stabilize or even better reverse trend to maintain values, and the social media following should reverse trend once the economy rebounds, and token utility and gamification should add value. The future NFT supply and minting is key, so oversupply will suppress values regardless of the catalysts above. So for the long term, the expected values really depend on the future token utility, user growth, and Veve's future strategy. For those of you interested in the ranking methodology and key assumptions used to arrive to the top 10 undervalued comics on Veve, you can always check my video on July 30th, 2022, where you'll see all these details. In addition, you can check my Patreon page where I do the ranking of all comics on Veve using the same analysis that you will see in this video, as opposed to only the top 10 undervalued comics, which I update weekly on this channel. Here is a snapshot of my collection on the Veve app. You are welcome to follow me on the app by searching the Avengers logo edition number 100. It is under the Disney Golden Moments brand. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. As you see in my previous videos, I always respond to each and every question. If you got value out of this video, hit the like and subscribe button so that you can keep informed every week when I post updates. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.